401 Sports World Network Fantasy Football Show. I am Mr. 401. LT is in the house. What's up, LT?
What's up, everybody?
And the calculator. What's up?
Greetings and salutations. Mr. 401, I'm sorry I don't have the fire that I usually bring, but I'm really frustrated this past week. And that's why I said, you know what? It's like, do I really want to do a show today? It's like, you know what? I need to do a show. I need to let all this anger, all this stuff just get off my shoulders and let the people know that it isn't just you that bad stuff happens to. It happens to everybody. But we'll say
it happens.
We go through the show.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
And look, I'm really ecstatic today. I think y'all know why. Because I play in 2 fantasy leagues, but I happen to have one guy on both teams. And that one guy just went off last night against Buffalo. So I can't wait for you guys to talk about that. But just like he might have went off for some owners, fantasy owners, it had to put a damper on others. So which is crazy. So, but we'll definitely talk about all that today.
Oh yeah.
Yep. So we will tackle the news and notes. We'll go through our listener league. We'll have our mini draft, which is LT's favorite part of the show. We'll go through that as well. The waiver wire, and we have the waiver wire warrior himself, LT, as well. And so we'll cover all those things today, and anything else in between. You know how it go. We have people that post questions and stuff. If they come up, we'll answer them too. So we're ready to do all of this. Yes. So calculator, go ahead and kick us off with some news and notes.
Oh, this is brutal, and this is what hurt me, Mr. 411. The injuries. So we'll get off to the small injury. We'll go with to let people, you want the good news, the bad news, and stuff like that. Cardinals running back Amari DeMarcado knocked out of Sunday's game versus the Colts with an ankle injury. His absence left the backfield to a 2-person timeshare, Michael Carter and Bam Knight. We'll update that status more often, but hopefully, I say hopefully, but if he's out for any time, the people that did those last minute pickups for old Bam Knight, who was last minute claimed as a starter 15 minutes before game time when I was still in my car coming home from church, Mr. 4-1, I had to pull over. So I wasn't reading my phone while I was making the moves to go and pick up Bam Knight. Not just almost as a speculative ad. It's like, hey, just wait and see. And why is that? We'll talk about it as we go on the show, but Bipocalypse is upon us, folks. Not this week, but next week we got that first week where it's 6 teams on a bye week. So all these spare parts and things that you're picking up, that can definitely be used for next week. But the big one, I call it the big, we'll say the big 4, because everyone I'm about to, first of all, the first 2 are guys that were wide receiver number 1s. Puka Nacua, Emeka Egbuka. Nacua left ankle injury. Word is he will be out. It's uncertain, but I am hearing this that he will be held out next week because they have a week 8 bye. So no need for him to test anything if he's feeling kind of like they did with Kincaid for Buffalo. As soon as I saw Kincaid questionable, Mr. 401, I saw that a bye week was on the horizon. Folks, that's what you need to do. If you have a guy that's questionable and they have a bye week very close to it, you can pretty much think they're going to hold him out to get that extra week in there. So I don't think Puka Nacua is playing next week because they're off this week. And they're traveling to London, so they're playing that London game. It's like they might just say, Puka, don't even make the trip, to stay home, rest, relax, because they're going to need them for the stretch run of the season. Buccaneers, Emeka Egbuka, injured hamstring. This was 2 catches, 24 yards, and then he left, and it's like, man, it's just brutal timing for both of these because both of them happened very early in the game. Hamstring injuries. Hey, Mike Evans might come back. So that could be the good news for the Buccaneers. Bad news for Buccaneers is Emeka Egbuka was trying to, he would take pressure off of Mike Evans. So, I'm thinking that he could get the next 2 weeks off, which is unfortunate because you want to talk about some juicy matchups. The Buccaneers have the Lions with a decimated secondary and the Saints the next 2 weeks. Those were juicy matchups. So I think Emeka is going to be sit out because they have a week 9 bye. Again, hamstrings are tricky. Don't want to do any aggravation. Look at being without Emeka Egbuka for the next 3 weeks. Garrett Wilson, knee injury in what was probably one of the most horrific football games I ever set my eyes on Sunday morning. Luckily, I'd already had my breakfast, LT, because I don't know if I could have stomached breakfast watching that game and eat breakfast at the same time. That was horrible, Mr. LT. I mean, I mean, every time. Did you know if you took Justin Fields' sack yards and his passing yards, he had net yards, negative 44 when you take away the sack yardage to that. I don't think that's ever been done in the history of football. I don't know. I've been trying to look through my database, LT, and I hadn't seen something so bad. And what made it even worse is, and it's not like, I mean, granted, yes, we heard the stories. Denver, great defense, la. Garrett Wilson was getting separation from Surtain, but Justin Fields was, and even when Justin Fields had time to throw through the ball, he was off target. And I think that's what ended up Garrett Wilson get hurt. I think he'll be, well, he's already declared doubtful. And we know under the new rules, if you're doubtful, that's 75% chance you're not going to play. And which is unfortunate because the Jets had a juicy matchup against Carolina on deck. So Garrett Wilson looks to me. But, hey, what are you going to do with Justin Fields? You got a juicy matchup, but he has nobody to throw to. But he might be throwing to somebody on LT's roster, Mason Taylor, LT. We'll talk about Mason Taylor. You know, he might have made the dead list, but we say don't drop him just yet, and I'll tell you why later on in the show. Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr., just as he started to ramp things up, sustained a concussion. Folks, 3rd documented concussion. They have a week 8 bye. They're part of the bipocalypse. Marvin Harrison, I would say 99.5% sure that he will miss this due to a week 8 bye. So Marvin Harrison will be gone next 2 weeks. Titans, Calvin Ridley. He started the game. People put him back in the lineup just for him to get his hamstring injury in the first half. Guys, I'm telling you right now, I have Calvin Ridley in one of my leagues. And LT, I think he's actually a droppable candidate because you're going to need bench spots coming up for these big bye weeks coming up. David Njoku suffered a knee injury in the second half. Folks, it is Harold Fannin time, folks, because if you have no David Njoku, Harold Fannin will be gobbling up all the medium, the low targets that Dylan Gabriel passed it 50 times, LT. It was crazy. And they weren't going deep downfield. And it was funny because every time we go deep down to Jerry Jeudy said there were hospital passes. And if anybody knows what hospital passes are in the NFL, that's when a receiver goes up. He gets hit so hard because it's in a bad location that he goes to the hospital. And Jerry Jeudy made 2 business decisions of not going for terrible hospital passes by Dylan Gabriel. But, yes, I think Harold Fannin time is going to be enjoyable for everybody that held on to Harold Fannin. And, hey, we're going to need it. We got Kincaid hurt, and he's on a bye this week. All you Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely owners that we met, hey, Baltimore's on a bye this week. I think Harold Fannin time to wretched it up for your owners. And Mike Gesicki was knocked out of Sunday's game versus the Packers. Left pectoral injury. He's pretty much been off the radar since the Joe Burrow injury. But hey, I think that could be good. We want to talk about a surprise tight end, Noah Fant, folks. If he gets all those, all that extra route participation for a guy in Joe Flacco that can toss the rock around a little bit, he might be an interesting waiver wire stash. What about you, Mr. 41? Did I miss any other things that might be on your radar that I didn't come across? Do you hear me okay, LT?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's see. Well, you said Mr. 411. That's why I was confused.
Oh, I'm sorry, LT. I was looking at the mini draft in the process. So
Yeah, the injuries were absolutely crazy and at bad times.
Bad
But
times.
very bad times, especially with Ibuka going down, Puka going down. Those spots are going to have to be filled.
Yep.
Yep, but we'll get all into that in a few minutes.
Yep. It's definitely take these injuries into consideration when the waiver wire hits.
Yeah, and looking over that waiver wire, it still looks short. It looks very, very short. Not a
But
whole lot of people out there.
Mr. 411, before we get, I'm going to throw this to you before we get into the waiver wire. We're going to talk about studs and duds. And to talk about studs and duds, all I need to go and look at a couple of my rosters, and I can tell you some duds because they were up and down my line. Well, besides the listener league, I did well in the listener league. I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, it was brutal with the Emeka. I think Javonte Williams came back down to earth, but no, I'm sorry, Mr. Foreman. I'm not going to take you. I didn't want to take your airtime to introduce the next section. I'm so fired up, Mr. 411. I can't contain myself.
Oh, well, it's time for studs and duds.
So, hey, and you want to talk about, was one of those players that went off, was it either Bijan Robinson or Drake London? Which one it was for you, Mr. 411? Because both of them went off on goodness gracious. And, folks, I just want to tell you, you had a man in Arthur Smith that kept this guy that is on the pitcher. He kept him in a full-on timeshare with Tyler Allgeier. No disrespect to Tyler Allgeier, but Tyler Allgeier ain't breaking off 81-yard runs. Hey, and Ms. 411, a guy, I heard a comparison on a fantasy show I listened to. He said, hey, back in the day, Barry Sanders had some very good running backs that ran behind him. But did the Detroit Lions ever take Barry Sanders off the field? No. And that's what Bijan is. He can cut, he can run, he can catch. I'm telling you, man, and for those Bijan owners, and unfortunately, I say unfortunately, how can you have Bijan Robinson and Jonathan Taylor on your team and still lose? I can tell you how. If you have two duds named Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson. so yeah, that was one of my leagues that I had to get off my chest, Mr. Fool. But hey, Drake London, I mean, if you are a Falcons person, just I just had PTSD, Mr. 401. I saw Rico Dowdle. I was going against Rico Dowdle in 2 leagues, man. How does that happen? When you go, one of the leagues had Rico Dowdle and Scatterboo. I was like, man, I was getting left hook and right hook all day, and then I mean, it was brutal. Oh, the same guy, Rico Dowdle, he had Josh Jacobs. I never had that. Josh Jacobs kind of added the knockout punch. 90 points. The man I played had 90 points from 3 people in my home league. So yes, I had second highest points. I just happened to play the Dowdle, Josh Jacobs, and Scatterboo owner on the week. And the thing is, Scatterboo was going against Philadelphia. You thought he had a so-so matchup. And I see another league I played in where I had Scatterboo. I just happened to go against Rico Dowdle and Devon Achane, another guy on the studs. I couldn't avoid to sit. Now, how in the world am I getting all these duds playing? My Becca Ibuka's blowing up. On lineups everywhere. Garrett Wilson, lit on fire. It was a brutal weekend for yours truly. But for all you Rico Dowdle owners. But hey, LT, I'm going to throw this to you. What type of target share, snap share do you see Rico Dowdle when Chuba Hubbard is deemed healthy?
75%.
So you don't think
Rico Dowdle has put up 30+ fantasy points in the last 2 games.
Yeah,
but
he's been
Chuba Hubbard may not get back on the field.
But LT, who has he played against these past 2 weeks? The 32nd ranked run defense of Miami Dolphins and the 31st ranked run defense in Dallas. So Rico Dowdle's had a nice time for him to play those soft defenses. Listen, he's not going to be on the waiver wire because he's already taken. But I'm still going to temper my enthusiasm. And if people remember, they gave a boatload. When I say they, Carolina gave a boatload of money to Chuba Hubbard. So I actually think when Chuba Hubbard comes back, I think it's going to be more 55-45. Because if everybody knows Dave Canales, the head coach for Carolina, he likes two running backs. He likes to rotate them. So if Chuba Hubbard's healthy, I think it's going to go more to 55-45. So, yeah, I do think Rico Dowdle has earned him. But, again, there's not going to be another. So like I said, it's very rare that you get the 32nd and the 31st ranked run defenses in back-to-back weeks. And, and unfortunately, I've already played against Rico Dowdle these past 2 weeks in over 7 leagues. So now I'm not going to get a chance to play when he's either splitting carries or playing tough defenses. So, hey, it is what it is.
Okay, so here's a question for you. What if Chuba Hubbard comes back and puts up 4 points? Maybe 7 points.
Well,
if he is thrown in the starting lineup and gets his 55 percentage and 45%, they go to Sharon. What happens if Chuba Hubbard's not producing?
And then they go back to the 75-25. Well, on one condition, if Rico continues to produce as well. So it is, it's two-headed sword. So yeah, Chuba, we got to look at the defenses because he's been. Like I said, it's been easy rolling, but they do have the Jets, Buffalo, and Green Bay on deck. 2 of those 3 defenses pretty stingy. Jets actually looked a little tough on the run defense against J.K. Dobbins this week. So they could be on the way back.
And there again, all your defenses are real shady right now. They're all up 1 week and down 1 week. Look at Scatterboo. You just played Philly. And everybody thought Philly had a great defense.
That's true. Well, now Philly was down. Jalen Carter, the injury. They were down. Their top cornerback got hurt. So they actually had to go from the man-to-man to zone defenses. So that took another guy out of the box for Scatterbo. So a lot of that was just, certain things. But I don't think Scatterbo is going to get as much running room this week against that Denver front. Denver, very, very in Denver. So I think we have to temper the Scatterbo, expectations as well this upcoming week. But they did. But then they're at Philadelphia in 2 weeks. Will Jalen Carter let me tell you, Jalen Carter is the difference maker for Philadelphia. He makes Philadelphia go from a bottom half of the defense to a top half overall defense because he can pressure the quarterback and he can stop the run. One of the few, interior defensive linemen that can do that.
Well, they sure need to get him back soon because that whole Philly team with Jalen Hurts and the defense is just sliding completely down the rankings.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're not on the thing, but, I said bounce back performances by A.J. Brown. He got more of a target share because they were behind. So he got some more. But, Mr. 4-1, is there any concern about, when I hate to go straight to a dud, but Saquon Barkley, what's going on, Mr. 4-1?
I know you're asking me that because he's on my team, but he's also on my team in another league too. What's crazy is I have in the 2 leagues I do play in, I have Robinson, Bijan Robinson, and Saquon. And is there concern? I'm going to say the concern to me is more so Philadelphia's offense.
Offensive line.
Not necessarily Saquon, but that line because he's been getting hit a lot more this year than it was last year. Last year he was further down the field before contact. This year he's getting hit behind the line of scrimmage a lot. And then also Jalen Hurts hasn't done him any favors either. You know what I'm saying? As far as in the passing game. So I think at some point Saquon's going to break loose here a little bit. Even though he's not playing at his apex right now, as far as fantasy owners would be concerned about, I think he's still giving you solid numbers, even in these trying times right now. So So I would say that the break is coming soon here. They're gonna have to devise some plays and probably just get him more involved in the passing game to kind of loosen things up.
Mm-hmm. And I want to since I got you talking, Mr. 4-1, I want to talk about another guy that I would consider a dud, especially if you spend third round pick on a guy that's a running back for one of your teams. You're the team you cheer for in the Seattle Seahawks. Where's Kenneth Walker? And I heard people calling him Kenneth Walker the turd after what he did last week, man, because he has just been awful. Is it more the offensive line? Is it game plan? Are they just satisfied? Do they really like Sharp? I mean, they went right down the field and then gave it 3 straight times to Charbonnet on the goal.
That's what it is. I think it's more so that he's not the workhorse back. You know what I'm saying? He's not the 3-down workhorse back, and then Charbonnet may be a goal line vulture. I think they're incorporating Charbonnet a lot more, and so the touches are decreasing with as far as Walker goes, in my opinion. And let's face it, Charbonnet is actually showing you that he can be a starting running back in this league. So Seattle actually has 2 starting running backs right now, and they're trying to lean more to Walker, but Charbonnet is he's just showing you that, hey, you got to give him the rock. And I say this, he hits the holes a little harder than Walker right now. And that's where it's at right now. I think Walker's not a bad back, but I just don't think he's going to be that full-time workhorse back right now in Seattle. And real football, I'm good with that, because if Seattle can utilize both of them, that'll be a coup for the team long term.
Okay. Another stud, and LT, I'm going to throw this to you, and can people be optimistic, or do you want to try and take optimism in it? But Jamar Chase was a stud this week with the new quarterback and the new addition of Flacco. Is this time to trade Chase while his value is high and people might be happy that it's Flacco, or is there really good optimism, going forward?
Well, you already know that Flacco's a little older. He's not going to be throwing the ball like he used to be, so he's going to have to hand the ball off.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that I believe that you hold tight. He's always going to have his ups and down games, but I believe you hold tight with him.
So, and on the previous thing, Mr. 4-1, I saw Patrick Mahomes. Where did this Patrick Mahomes come from? I mean, he has been. And I'm talking about the past 3 years, people were taking Patrick Mahomes as the first quarterback. This is the first year I can remember where he went out of the bottom 5. He was usually the quarterback drafted usually 3 rounds this year, on the average of 3 rounds after Joe Burrow. And he has been on fire. The man is running more. And now, folks, guess what? Those people that drafted Rashee Rice, he is back. And here's the throw. And Mr. 4-1, I tried to get him to post this on the message board, but Jim from Jersey, he's been holding on to Rashee Rice, and he said, calculator. He sent me a text message. He said, Jim from Jersey. He said, I got Rashee Rice coming back. He said, but should I play Rashee Rice in this first week back, or next week do I go with Deebo Samuel, who's playing the Cowboys, next week? What would you go with, Mr. 4-1? Are you going to wait and see on Rashee Rice, or are you going to pull him in, even though Deebo Samuel has a dream matchup?
Yeah, man, he's got a juicy matchup against Dallas. I mean, I'm trying to play both of them. I mean, you got 2 wide receivers, just put them both in there, unless he's got this other receiver that's just, a wide receiver 1.
He's got
he's got to play him. So, I mean, just run 3 wide. Just put all 3 of them out there.
Well, no, it was Amon and but it was another top receiver that he had that were automatic starts. So he didn't ask me those 2. He said Amon and so were in my starting lineup. So he said in his flex position, should he put Deebo with Dallas or Rashee Rice with his first game back against Las Vegas?
Well, I'm gonna go with the better quarterback. I'm gonna go with Mahomes, and I'll go with Rice. I know that's a juicy matchup against Dallas, but the 49ers have other options too. And McCaffrey's going to be involved in the passing game. They're going to run McCaffrey. So why wait a minute now. Where's Deebo? Let me make sure I know where he's at. He's in DC now, right?
Yeah, DC.
Okay. So he's in DC. Oh, my bad. He's in DC.
So Terry Terry McLaurin might come back. Well, Luke McCaffrey, he's been doing
Yeah. I mean, I would still stick with Rice because, like, if Mahomes is my quarterback and he knows what he's doing out there, I'm gonna stick with the better quarterback.
What about you, LT? Are you going Deebo with Dallas, or are you going Rashee Rice?
Yeah, I would still play Deebo because he's been playing every week, and Rishi Rice, he's coming back from injury. You never know how he's going to act.
And so I'll be the tiebreaker for you guys. I am okay. This is my thing. If Terry McLaurin plays, I'm starting Rashee Rice. If Terry McLaurin is out another week, I'm playing Deebo Samuel. So that's where I go. That's my if play. If I got another target that's coming in there, I'm going with Rashee Rice. But if Terry's out, and I think Deebo is going to, of course Deebo's a little banged up. Remember, he was a game time decision, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But if he's totally healthy and there's no Terry McLaurin, I'm rolling with Deebo with that matchup. But again, if Terry's playing and if he's questionable, then I go Rashee Rice. So see, I know I didn't do the tech, but I told you my reasoning and why I would choose one.
Yeah, you waiting on the injury report to see what loosens up over there in DC. But I don't know. I like something about Mahomes, and he's delivering right now, and he's hot, and he's got to get it to somebody out there. And I think Rice will benefit from that. I don't think, and then we're talking about a slot position here. So I think either way, he's good. He's in a good position here. Don't get me wrong. So Jet from Jersey's in a great position when he's got.
Jim from Jersey. That is a great problem to have, in my opinion. So is there any other duds you want to talk about or studs, Mr. 4-1? Before we get to the all important waiver wire.
Oh no. I'm good. I'm staying away from duds this week.
Because there were a lot of them, folks. I mean,
there was too many of them this week. And and at this point in time of the year, sometimes you have to just chalk it up to matchups. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a bad matchup this week or that week. And there's too many injuries that have been popping up now. So a lot of it is really contingent on things like that.
And Mr. 4-1, I want to throw this out there. There's another frustration. In 2 leagues, I lost by, I think it was 3 points in one league, 5 points in the other league. 2 separate leagues. Both those leagues, I had David Montgomery and Jared Goff. And if people remember, David Montgomery threw a touchdown to Jared Goff in that game, got called back for a penalty. Mr. 4-1, I said right there, that's going to cause me to lose the game. And I lost both matchups because of that one penalty. And I'm telling you, Dan Campbell, I'm blaming you. I'm not blaming the offensive coordinator. I'm blaming you. You should know the rules that if the quarterback does not step back and he goes in motion, he has to set 1 second before you can snap the ball. That is a rule they teach in Mighty Might football, Mr. 4-1. Mighty Might. I coached 5 and 6-year-olds football. And I taught when we didn't do a lot of motion, quarterback run but a lot of stuff like that, men in the backfield set and stuff like we went over the basics in Mighty Might football. And we had a professional that did not understand the rule. And he's asking the referee what was wrong. It's like, dude, and I'll tell you, I give the replay official credit. I mean, because it's not a reviewable play.
Right.
I give the referees credit. I was like, hold on, something was off about that. And because I didn't notice it when all I saw was dollar signs, man, when I have a David Montgomery, Jared Goff stack, and you get something like that. And it's like, it cost that penalty was winning in 2 leagues to losing in 2 leagues, Mr. 4-1. Just devastating. That's how my week was for Mr. 4-1. Had to bring another one in there. Oh, besides Zach Ertz, who could have made your stud list going against James Cook. In one league. If you're timing somebody and you got James Cook and you're going against Zach Ertz, I like my chances. You know what I'm saying? But it was not meant to be this week. So I literally lost the James Cook to Zach Ertz head-to-head battle.
Man.
Man, it is.
But for those who are suffering right now and need to make some changes, man, who should we look to pick up, people?
Hey, another guy that could have been on the stud list. And if you listen, LT, we talked on the list last week. You can pull up. We said get Hassan Haskins or Vidal. And my recommendation was get whichever one costs less. Vidal was the less costing player, and of course, he blew up. Now, granted, it was the Miami Dolphins. We talked about them in the 32nd round. So I'm not getting all that, I'm not doing all chips in the middle type deal. But from what I hear is Marion Hampton could last past the 4-week window of IR. They're saying it could be the high sprain type of area. So they're thinking 6 weeks injuries. So Vidal could get I'm thinking flex option. But folks, like I said, we talked about the 6 off bye weeks next week, not this week, but next week. He's definitely a guy that might be able to fill your lineup. Now, so even going out running backs, going out tight ends, is he not the top waiver wire target this week? Is there anybody that would be higher on y'all's guys list?
I'm gonna lean on LT with this one.
That just all depends on what your needs are. If you need a tight end, if you still got Brock Bowers, it just all depends. A lot of big name wide receivers went down too. Somebody's got to fill those holes.
Yeah, and that's why we go to the Kayshon. Now, here's the question. Kayshon Boutte, is he not mirage? And what I mean by that is, what's a mirage? It's like you get him, you see him, oh, you like him, you love him, you go pick him up, and then he gets you 0 points. It's like it's a Stephon Diggs game. That's the only thing that says that, But hey, I love this Kendrick Bourne guy. And I know Mr. 411 likes a Kendrick Bourne, because Mr. 411, I know you give props to LT, but Mr. 411, I think I saw Kendrick Bourne on your roster.
You did.
So it's like, folks, hey, you got to get in the listener league. We will make you better, because I know a lot of these names aren't on the waiver wire in the listener league because we pay attention. But hey, LT, do you have any hesitation in going after a Kendre Miller this upcoming week with Bipocalypse approaching?
Oh, of course not. And it would be possible to flex him in certain situations.
Yes.
Wow. That's strong.
Matter of fact, he's already on my team in the listener league.
Okay. Yeah. See, well, like I said, it's going to be.
I'm sure he is.
But hey, let's go to tight ends, because that's a guy that has bailed Mr. 411 out on more than one occasion. Cade Otton, folks. We mentioned him last year, and he saved Mr. 411's season because won him 2 games by himself. Well, you know what? Now is the time to go back to the Cade Otton well. Why is that? Because of the Ibuka injury, because of the Mike Evans being hobbled, because of the Godwin injury. Folks, you got Johnson and Johnson running routes in Tampa Bay right now. So, Baker Mayfield, who is me and LT and Mr. 401's current favorite for MVP with the way he's playing right now. But the thing is, Baker don't care. He's just throwing it out there. Oh, and there's a quick story I want to say, Mr. 4-1, if you hadn't heard it before. After Tez Johnson caught that touchdown, it was a great fingertip grab, right? Makes it touchdown, and Tez here's the chance, MVP. And Tez Johnson come back to Sterling Shepard and said, "Hey man, all I did was catch a touchdown, and you're chanting MVP." I said, "I heard." And Sterling Shepard said, "That's for Baker Mayfield, my friend."
Not for you, buddy.
Yeah. So, but I thought that was kind of funny that Tez Johnson got a little excited when he caught that touchdown and hear his MVP chance. But yeah, hey, let me tell you something. I love the way Baker's playing, and I love if I can have Cade Otton to fill in for if you're a Njoku owner and you're scrambling. Again, Kincaid out has his bye week. This is the time to get Cade Otton is a perfect 1 week / 2 week filler, in my opinion, because he great target share when you're missing Mike Evans, Godwin, and Ibuka. They're top. And McMillan's still on IR. Don't forget about him. They're like I said, when you're down to starting Johnson and Johnson, I think Baker Mayfield will. And this week, Mr. 4-1, you think they're going to be in a shootout when they're playing the Detroit Lions? Remember what happened when the Detroit Lions lost to Green Bay? They just went out and put 50 points up the next game. So I think they're going to be in a shootout because – and I think if people don't know, the Detroit Lions Branch, their all-pro safety, smacked Juju Smith-Schuster after the game due to the frustration. I hear he could come down with a suspension. So when you're down 2 safeties, down to your 4th-string cornerback, the weakness of the Lions is the secondary. So, and we saw what Baker can do if he has a depleted secondary. He's going to throw once and throw again. And, folks, it's going to be at Detroit, and that's where Jared Goff does his best work. Folks, on your hey, we might have to talk about during the mini draft, Mr. 411. That's a juicy matchup on some players that might make our mini draft. But you got to stay tuned and see how that works.
Indeed.
But another guy, Jaxon Dart, I love that. Hey, he's a guy that can run. But Mr. 411, I don't know if you saw the Thursday night game, but it was great.
Yeah, he got dinged up.
He got dinged up. He goes out to the medical tent. The head coach tries to go in the medical tent with him. They kick him out.
Yeah.
And then Scatterbo went back in and go and check on him. But what's so funny is Russell Wilson comes in, throws it straight into the ground, right?
And they boom out of there.
And then Dayball, the head coach for the Giants, just lambasted the trainers. How could you not get him out there and clear him for that 3rd down play? Because I felt bad for Russell Wilson this point. He was in a no-win situation because Dart's been doing so good, and then Russell Wilson didn't even come close to completing that ball on 3rd and 8. But hey, Jaxon Dart, he did good against Philadelphia, but again, I think he's going to find the trouble a little bit harder going against Surtain and the sack-happy Denver defense. So Superflex leagues, he's already rostered. But as you see, only a 35% roster in all leagues. Jaxon Dart is definitely a good bye-week type fill-in my opinion. Sterling Shepard can't. Again, we talked about Baker Mayfield. Having that pepper and guy. Hey, Baker Mayfield went to college with Sterling Shepard. They got that in there. And I also want to put Jalen Coker. Hey, he's got to come out sooner or later, Mr. 411. And I think Bryson Young's he's starting to get better and better as a thing. And folks, check out and see if Tyjae Spears, because some people might have had to drop him last week when he came off of IR last week and they couldn't use the spot for him. So Tyjae Spears is a guy I definitely think, because Pollard has one of the most inefficient running backs up to this date. And Tyjae Spears, when they're going to be playing from behind, he's the pass catching specialist for Tennessee. And I think he could be one of those flex, if you're in a double flex league, putting him out there to get the passing work, Mr. 411.
Yeah, absolutely. And how many teams we have on the bye this upcoming week?
Just 2 weeks, but it just happens to be Buffalo and Baltimore, guys that have a lot of fantasy players. Zay Flowers out. I talked about all the Buffalo guys out, and I talked, but hey, the good thing about Baltimore coming back, and folks, I'm going to do a little kicker news. Folks, I guarantee you that Baltimore kicker, Loop, he's probably been dropped in a lot of your leagues. After the bye week, I'm telling you, Baltimore, when Lamar comes back, they are going to go crazy on the scoreboard, and I think the beneficiary is going to be that kicker. So I think once he's out there, because a lot of people are probably going to drop him on this bye week, go and pick up the Baltimore kicker if you're in need of a kicker after this bye week, because he'll be cheap, he'll be available, and he'll score a ton of points with that offense, because they're in a must-win situation now, Mr. 4-1. They're going to need to win, most of their games, especially with Pittsburgh being as good as they are currently at this pace.
Yeah, it's definitely go time. Definitely go time for Baltimore. And guess what? They need to keep him in the loop.
Yeah. And another guy that I also want to mention, we talked about, hey, we'll go to the tight end. Michael Mayer, 5 for 50 for 1 yard against the Titans. If Brock Bowers, I think he'll be out week 7. Again, just because we always talk about when you're resting a guy, he'll be out this week against and folks, he'll be next week. He's got one of those week 8 buys as well. So it's like, hey, Mike Mayer could be in there. KC is a pass funnel defense. What that means is they're really good on the outside, so you can catch stuff in the middle. They want the pass to go to the middle field, and I think Geno can do that. So I think they're going to play close to the vest, and I think Mayer could be a great bye week fill in this week as well if you're really hurting it. quarterback.
Absolutely. All right. Anything else on the waiver wire? Waiver wire
And,
warrior LT?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I liked Luther Burden the other night. He got 40% snap share, and he was there. He was lined up in the important downs. So when they needed him, he was there and he was on the field. I also I really like Kendrick Bourne this week. Kendrick Bourne has put up 2 games of 20 plus fantasy points back to back. And the one we talked about the most, and yes, Bijan is probably one of the best running backs in the league currently, right now. Still like Tyler Allgeier for the late game hammer. They let Bijan run all the way down the field. They bring Allgeier in because he's 50 pounds heavier, and they tell him to run in and get touchdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
He's almost startable, isn't he, guys?
Yeah. Yes. Especially with what I said, with 8 teams on a bye next week and all these injuries. If you're because I'm in a league where I literally had Ibuka and Garrett Wilson on my team, both of them out. And that same league, I had Neighbors earlier in the year. So I'm searching for guys that I can just fill in that flex spot, And Jordan Whittingham, I like that name on there, folks, because if Naku is out, that is the spot that Whittington for the Rams can play. He was really good in the preseason. Stafford, when he locks on a guy, he can make him guy. But another guy I want to turn to is, folks, if somebody drops Mason Taylor this week because of his poor performance, they are playing the 32nd and the 30th ranked defenses against tight end these next 2 weeks. So Mason, and with Garrett Wilson out, who else is on the Jets? You know what I'm saying? They got to throw it to somebody. So, if you're going against the teams that struggle, like Carolina and Cincinnati back-to-back, perfect time for Mason Taylor to bounce back and be because I know he's not going to be available in a lot of leagues, but hey, and don't spend a lot on him, but hey, he's definitely a guy that if you're in trouble with tight ends, which a lot of people are, he's definitely a guy we can go and hit, especially when you're like I said, you're still recovering from the Kittle, you're still recovering from the Brock Bowers, and now you got to worry about Kincaid being out. Not only this week for bye week, but hey, they might keep him out a third week as well. But I think they kept him out this week so that they could take him back because Josh Allen looked lost without Kincaid against the Falcons, in my opinion.
Josh Allen looked lost, period. Buffalo had just the worst game.
They just didn't look right this week.
I tried to trade you Ramondre Stevenson and Dak Prescott 2 for 1. I tried to help and take Josh Allen off your hands. I don't know if I can do that now with a bye week up in LT. So,
boy, you're right. I should have gave him to you before he just lost it, man.
And do you think now might be a good time to get Jaden Blue, the running back for the Cowboys, another guy that you might want to get for later on? Word is season-ending injury for Miles Sanders, so that makes Jaden Blue the clear handcuff to the oft-injured Javonte Williams. Might want to be a guy you want to, take a little sprinkle on to see what happens. If you have a guy that moved, when you're questionable guys, move to the out position, move your guy in there that frees up a roster pick up Jaden Blue and see what happens this weekend. Just something to think about.
Yep, absolutely. If you go into Sunday morning, you got an empty spot on your roster, be like, hey, let me add this guy just in case.
Just in case.
Yep.
That's right. Okay.
Lots of times those just in case guys work out for you.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, there it is. That wraps up the waiver wire. And let's see what we got to get to now. Oh, the listener league.
Yes. The only game yours truly won was this one for the calculator. so luckily I just happened to go against the last place team though. So it's not like I could have used my 140 against. Well, hey, I'm just glad I didn't go against your team, Mr. 411. But beast mode, you 88 points, you still got to win. Congratulations.
Hey, man, you take them how you can take them, isn't that right?
Because
a win is a win.
But then poor Bijan Mustard Brooks, the showcase. a contributor, a frequent contributor to the show. Just another big week, but another loss. I mean, let's look. I'm just going to look at the standing. Bijan Mustard has the most points scored in the league.
Yeah.
And 1 win. So, but hey, we saw it 2 years ago with LT. That happened to LT. All you need to do, hey, you got the tiebreaker. Just get that number 6 spot because you will be dangerous in the playoffs with that roster. So don't, we say you're not, we don't think you can play the top team every week or one of the top 10 teams or top 3 teams every week. So just keep your head up, Bijan, because, as long as you're consistently in there, we think you'll be fine. And be the one, man, Mr. 411, just a top tier performance with, just look at your roster. No Barkley, no problem. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Kendrick Bourne, 19, 20, fit 40 points from Bijan, 22 from Ashton Genty. And look at that kicker, the New Orleans kicker. Who would have thought he'd got 16 points? And
I sure didn't think that.
I don't want to brag or bring attention to myself, Mr. Foreman, but I do believe, and you're going to check the tape, week 2, we did say pick up the Seattle defense because even if they hey, I like Mike McDonald. That coach is for real, and that guy has them playing ball. Oh, and guess what? All they have is the team with the 31st ranked offensive line in Houston
next week.
Yeah, so good, rally the Seattle troops up because they will be in the backfield all game long. So Mr. 4-1, I think, but if we go to the actual, I will play Kurt. See, he's currently favored to win, but I got some moves up my sleeve, Mr. 4-1, that I will do. Beast Mode will be playing ninth place team, Fly Zone Liam, and Mr. 401. Oh, you playing Flight Squad?
Yeah, another juicy matchup, man. We're in the meat of our schedule here.
I think I think that will most likely. I'm trying to look at other. Yes, that will probably be matchup of the week since it's the matchup of the 2 highest ranked teams for that week. It's either that or the Grit Splits matchup. So I think it'll probably be you and Flight Squad. So I think that'll be a great matchup between you and the guy who's a Windy City fan and a listener of the show. That be a good matchup for you guys.
Yeah,
7 teams with a 3-3 record.
Yes,
and that's
and I'm glad LT brought that up because if you look at the standings and calculate, you can wrap it up on that part of it. But look how it's only 1 game separating all the way down to whatever number. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that's why I said all it takes is a winning streak for Bijan, and because nobody's running away with this. You know what I'm saying? So that's why if you have the most points in the league, go ahead and just don't keep working the waiver wire, folks. No matter how good you can make yourself better. That is the thing about, and that's what that waiver wire is for. And even if you have to run our show from the beginning, Mr. 4-1, just go. You might want to put the time docket when we talk about the waiver wire because that is what wins you leagues, folks. It's not the draft. The draft is just one component. The next component is the waiver wire. So Bijan, I'm glad I got my matchup out of the way. I don't want to play Bijan again. I had the second most points when I played him earlier this year.
Yeah, because can you imagine if you were playing the waiver wire this year and you went 0 RB strategy? Now, let's say you had Rico Dowdle and Cam Scatterboo and picked them both up.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. So if you'd have picked I don't know, Woody Marks. I think that's another guy that you mentioned a few weeks ago. LT.
Yeah, Marks
got him off the waivers. So, Mr. Or I'll talk to LT. LT, you got the number 1 waiver priority. Yeah,
I do.
People, are you go because you can tell people if you don't use it or not because it don't matter because you can get them if you want them. Is Vidal? Yeah, I don't even know if he's even available in our league. Let me see. Okay, well, we'll just say in theory, do you spend Do you spend a top 3 waiver priority on Vidal? Is he worth a top 3 waiver priority?
On Vidal this week? Ooh, that would be a very hard decision. because don't they? Let me see. Where is
They
that?
play the Colts this week.
Right, they do play the Colts this week. It's definitely going to be a high-scoring game. I don't know. I really think it would have to be based on the matchup.
Indianapolis, Minnesota, and Tennessee the next 3 weeks.
Ooh.
And actually, I like I said, earlier in the show, I said I think it's a 6-week injury because I think they'll keep Hampton out through their bye week. So you're looking at Indianapolis, Minnesota, Tennessee, Pittsburgh, and Jacksonville. Although, folks, there is words on the street. Breece Hall is asking to be traded internally.
Absolutely, I brought that up last week.
That's right. So Breece Hall, if he gets traded to the Chargers, you just lit all that early waiver priority and that free agency money on fire, in my opinion. So that is something that you got to keep your eye on is the rumors because sometimes when there's smoke, there is fire. It's just something. Because what does the Jets have to play for? What do they need that? But although I do hear the reason they haven't traded Breece Hall is because the only people that are talking to him are trying to give him a 5th-round pick. If the Jets re-sign Breece Hall, depending on how much money they give him, they could literally trade him to another team with that new contract and get a compensatory 3rd-round pick or a 2nd-round pick, depending, again, on the money that they sign him to. So that isn't – it's like, man, why do I want a 5th-round pick? Let's just hold on to him, sign him to a new contract, and trade him and get a higher draft pick through the compensatory process rather than a straight 5th-round pick. So that's another reason they hadn't pulled the trigger yet. That's what I'm hearing on the streets.
So, calculator, if you were if the Chargers start Vidal, Chargers are a throw first team. They have 3 good wide receivers. They throw a lot. Last week they threw 100 yards to McConkey. Would you drop Omarion Hampton?
No.
He's going to be out 6 more weeks.
No. And again, well, okay. Depends on 2 things. Depends on roster size, and it depends on IR slots. He is worth clogging up your IR list above all other. Put it this way: if I have Hampton and Aaron Jones is coming back, I'm dropping Aaron Jones and using Hampton in my IR spot before I would drop, a Marion Hampton. But yeah, no, and I'll tell you why. Look at the matchup. Las Vegas, Philadelphia after the bye week. But look at this, folks. Dallas in the playoff weeks for Omarion Hampton. Goodness gracious. If you can have Omarion Hampton in Dallas during the playoffs, you want that.
Right. Philly, Kansas City, and Dallas. Yep.
Yeah. And the thing about Omarion Hampton, you talk about throw first team. That's why he was so valuable, is because he catches the ball as well. So that's why when you have a banged up offensive line, and I do think Joe Alt is coming back before the end of the year. So once they get him back as well. But I think that's why Vidal is so valuable, is because he caught 5 to 6 passes this past weekend. So that's just a thing.
Vidal had 3 catches for 14 yards.
Yeah, there you go. So
18 rushes for 124.
Okay, I thought he had more catches than that. How many targets?
4. He caught 3 of 4.
Okay.
Now I do believe the way that this is looking is you may get Omarion Hampton back by week 11, but at week 11, are you hanging? You're just plugging him into your IR slot and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Because by week 11, you may not even be in the playoffs.
In the playoffs. That's another. Well, that's another condition you have to look at. Hey, and you
absolutely.
This might be somebody you can try and trade then. If you're in a win now mode, hey, see if you can go to a top 3 team who has an IR slot available. If you don't have the IR, see if they want to hold on for Hampton for the playoff rate. Because I guarantee you, if they're looking at the roster at the schedule we just look at, and they see that Dallas, that might just colorblind them to everything else. So yeah, hey, you can be a trade candidate if you're in a win now mode. You're right. That's another thing to take into consideration. LT is the win now mode.
Yep.
So, hey, so with that said, we're going to LT's favorite part of the draft as well, that mini draft, folks. Last week, it was a barn burner. Everybody scored over 70. Well, I scored over 70, but Mr. 4-1 LT battled it out. You know, LT got an early lead with his Jonathan Taylor and, you know, Amon St. Brown thing. And then, man, just 4-1-1 just started coming back with McCaffrey with the 4 o'clock game and Mahomes at night with his 33 points and McBride with a 20. So Mr. 4-1 charged ahead, and LT was on the comeback trail Monday night. But just all he needed was 5 more minutes, Mr. 4-1, 5 more minutes. And I think Jane Daniels would have got that extra touchdown to leapfrog you. So it was a great battle between you and LT. But Mr. 4-1, you got 2 weeks. LT, you ended LT's back-to-back run. So now I need to start getting on the street right here, you know. So yeah, but congratulations.
I appreciate it.
So, and with that, we'll go to the wheel of names. And hey, the jinx was broken by Mr. 4-1 with the first pick last week to finally win out of the number 1 slot. And am I going to get it this time? I'm going to get the number 1 slot.
All right. Calculated with the number 1 pick.
Finally. It's just so people don't think this thing is rigged. So, well, unless LT gets the 3rd spot for the 4th straight time, right? So we'll see.
That's not rigged. That's lucky. Got this rabbit's foot in my pocket.
You won back-to-back.
Oh, I got number 2.
Okay. Number 2. All right, 4-1's back-to-back.
So LT gets the number 1 or the number 2 slot. And let me go here and put LT and put 4-1-1. And folks, I'm not going to take chances because I know LT likes them. I know 4-1 like them. Man, we say what? If I can get a quarterback against the Cowboys, and he's a top 3 quarterback overall.
You're not playing around.
Hey, I think he's worth the first pick. Jaden Daniels in one of the juiciest matchups. Folks, in DFS, I am spending up for Jaden Daniels. But, you know, I hear he's going to be close to 50% owned. And so he's more of a cash game play than a tournament. You actually might want to fade Jaden Daniels in tournament leagues and try and, win elsewhere. So, all right, LT.
Well, I'm going to take one of your favorite players then. I'm going to take Jonathan Taylor.
Ah.
They're playing the Chargers this week.
Yeah.
And folks, we do use 4-1 scoring, so you do get that extra incentive for carries. And Jonathan Taylor, you know how many touches their backup running back got? 2. Got 2 touches. The backup got 2 touches all last week. So in what could be a close game, Jonathan Taylor is going to dominate touches. As long as Jonathan Taylor, hey, let me tell you, Jonathan Taylor, if I was the number 2 pick and Jane Daniels, Jonathan Taylor's my pick. So good pick, LT. All right, Mr. 4-1.
All right. We're going back to back. Then we go with McCaffrey. And you know what? I'm gonna go with old Patty again for another week. Patrick Mahomes.
Number 1 quarterback on the year. And he gets Rashee Rice back. So, all right, LT.
Well, this ought to be I'm going to do something a little different. Let's do something a little different.
Okay.
Give me Drake London versus the 49ers.
Ooh. All right.
So the word on Moody coming back doesn't scare you for Drake London?
Nope. Drake London is a target machine. They pepper him nonstop.
Okay. Well, with that, I got to go with McBride because I will not get a chance to get a tight end on the way back because LT and 4-1. So if I can be the first one to take, I'll take the number 1 tight end on my board off. And wide receiver, I don't need running back because both of you guys have running backs. So I got to go into the wide receiver streets. And let me see. I talked about shootout, right? In Detroit. Jared Goff loves playing indoors. They're going to be scoring against Baker Mayfield all day long to try and keep up with them. So I'm going with Amon St. Brown.
Yeah, I wrote him down.
So. All right, LT, you need a quarterback or a tight end?
Well, let's go ahead and let's play for the stack this week. Let me get Tyler Warren.
Okay.
Nice. Took my guy this week.
Yeah, I was debating between Warren and McBride, but I just decided I'm hoping Brissett comes back, to tell you the truth, because he actually he was chucking that ball. So you need a wide receiver and a tight end, Mr. 411.
I need a tight end
and a wide receiver.
All right, let me go with let me get the wide receiver out the way. I'll go with Monday night. I'll go with Seattle, and I'll go with my guy Njigba.
Okay. All he did is get 66% of running back routes targeted first read.
Yeah, I have to go with. He's there. I'm gonna go with him Monday night. That makes it interesting, man. Yeah, the tight ends that I wanted, they're all gone, so I have no idea who to go with now. So what I'll do is just have a little fun with the tight end position. So give me Fannin.
I was about to say, I was going to suggest.
Good choice.
I think it's a great choice.
All right.
I believe they're playing Miami this week, so so you can have fun going against that defense as well. All right, LT.
Yeah, and Gabriel's throwing the ball for a lot of times, so I mean he's got to catch something to Sunday.
Yeah, and Njoku, if he's held out, that's just more targets to Fannin.
All right, well. Am I scared? I'm probably not going to be scared. I really don't want to take him, but I'm going to go ahead and take Jalen Hurts. I think he's going to have a bounce back, and I think he's going to get in the end zone.
LT, and then he also can run the ball, and I'm wondering if this is going to be the week that he breaks out with the rushes.
Right.
Like really break out.
The week that he puts two, that he gets that 1.5 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And I got to do it, right? I mean, he's out there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Even though it's a tough matchup, you got to go cross country. I really don't. Cleveland scares me, so that's throwing me off of Achane. So I don't think I want to go with that. Jalen Warren, Arthur Smith is probably the worst offensive coordinator ever, because this is probably going to be the game where Gainwell gets double-digit carries while they have Warren on the bench. So yeah, I got to go with the guy that's going to dominate and can catch the ball as well. Bijan.
Yeah,
I go with Bijan Robinson. I know it's a short week, and they got to go cross country, but Penix struggles on the road, so I think they might have to lean on the running back a little bit more. It was between him and Gibbs, to tell you the truth, because I like Jahmyr Gibbs, but the one thing that holds me back from Jahmyr Gibbs is
David Montgomery. David Montgomery.
Yeah.
But now Josh Jacobs, 35 plus points 2 weeks back to back.
Yeah, man.
But he's not
Arizona. It's a juicy matchup.
It is, LT. I thought about it.
And I was thinking about that. But again, now, and it's in Arizona though. So Arizona, Jonathan Taylor put up a decent amount of points. So yeah, Jacobs was on my list, but Jacobs don't catch that. Although I think he caught 5 to 7 catches.
5 for 57 last week.
Yeah, so he can't catch the ball.
Yeah.
But it's just Bijan. I wanted the more explosive
Sure.
play.
Sure. And right now, I watched that game last night, and it looked like Bijan was the best running back in the league.
I
He
mean,
was destroying people.
I thought it was Gil Sayers out there. You know what I'm saying?
and that's what I wanted to talk. I mean, that's why they did Barry Sanders comparisons to him, because the way he can jump cut and juke. I mean, he is something else. Like again, I am a little worried about going cross country, but San Francisco just lost their All Pro linebacker, to injury. So that's one of their run stuffing linebackers, Fred Warner. So he's out. So that should help somewhat in opening up space for Bijan. Because he's also one of those cover lineback, like when the running back comes out for wheel routes, he's athletic enough that he can cover those like pass catching running backs. So Bijan don't have to worry about him shadowing him.
Right.
Yep. Well, we'll definitely see. But it's hard not to pick. I mean, Robinson. When there's 3 teams drafting here, somebody's going to have to take the guy. Yeah. All right. Well, then, man, that's always fun. And hey, we do the mini draft as LT Calculator has stated earlier. Like, we do it to help with your daily fantasy picks, and also, we do include the stats from our league, from the listener league, which we do include 0.25 per carry, which helps reward those backs that are getting the workload. And so we incorporate that as well. But that means that the quarterbacks get 0.25 as well when they rush. So that makes it extra dynamic.
And Mahomes have been so valuable in our
league. So that's an additional dynamic for them as well.
Dane Daniels to run the ball more this week for me, Mr. 411, for my mini draft.
Yeah. All right, it should be fun. I can't wait to get the scores from that one, and from coming up this week.
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else you want to leave us with, LT, before we roll out?
Looking forward to this upcoming week. Got to play the waiver wire. You got to make sure you have all your bases covered. I've got to go out there and look for a kicker.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Those kickers, man, I tell you, they'll make a break. Hey, look, I love the kickers this past week.
Hey, Mr. 4-1, I even gave some kicker advice on this episode. So for a while back, I gave some kicker advice. So hey, every point counts in fantasy football. It
does. It really does. Because just like what you were saying about like how Barkley may not be having that stellar season. Like the 16 points from the kicker this week, hey, he did just as well as Barkley did. You know what I mean? So
he did.
It helps make up for somewhere where another player is slacking. So, the kickers can come through for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So,
all right. Well, I guess that wraps it up for this week. We'll do it again next week, but make sure you hit the like button.
Subscribe.
Because that helps with the algorithm, right?
And subscribe.
Hit subscribe.
And share. Hey, and LT, why do you share? Why do you share with people?
Yeah, why, LT?
Because sharing is caring.
There we go. That's right.
There it is. Sharing is caring. That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys, man. LT and the calculator, job well done once again. And hey, another one's in the books for the 401 Sports World Fantasy Football Show.
And Miss 401, I do want to add, that's why I like waking up early in the morning on waiver wires. Because with LT holding that number one waiver priority, he makes his picks like at 4:00 in the morning. When he wakes up in the morning. So I was like, what did LT go and get? I might want to use that on leagues that I play where my waivers don't go through until Wednesday. I always enjoy to see who LT's out there. LT's like that piranha. He just goes up and he starts nipping. As soon as he tastes blood, he starts going crazy.
Hey, man, I wake up a little extra early on Wednesdays, man. It feels like Christmas. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. I always enjoy seeing who gets picked up and dropped on waiver wire. Because that's another thing about the waiver wire. Look at who's dropped. You never know. They might come. They might help you out later on in the league.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, another one's in the books. For the calculator, for LT, I'm Miss 401. We out of here. But we'll see you next week.